What is up, guys? Today we are going to be starting a new series called Intermediate Lean. Hopefully it'll be a lot of fun. I'm not giving up on my old series, Beginners in Lean. You can find the link below in the description. But we're going to be moving on to using Mathlib, and specifically using Mathlib to solve examples of much more practical real-world problems. There's going to be a heavy focus on tactics, as they are usually more useful for this kind of like heavy lifting, right? Yeah, enjoy. Okay, so we'll start with how to set up a project with Mathlib. The easiest way by far is to go Control-Shift-P in Visual Studio Code and select Lean for Mathlib, create project using Mathlib. This should do everything for you and it should work right out of the box. Unfortunately, some of the tooling around Lean can be pretty, well, hard to use. I'm going to go over a description of the project files, and then I will give a little bit of troubleshooting advice. So after you do this, create project using Mathlib, you'll get a few files in a new folder. I've already started on the repo for this, or the project for this series, so these files were not generated, but these files are auto-generated. So you get a toolchain file, and this is the version of Lean that you're using. You get a lake file, and this is the configuration for building the project. And then you get a lake manifest.json, which is some of the kind of state for the build tool. Usually, oh, and then there's also the .lake. This is the folder with all the build files. Usually you don't want to mess with any of these, but if you want to, for example, set the version of Mathlib, you can do that using the rev equals, and then you would specify the version here, like so, and it should match what's in your Lean toolchain, of course. You can put stable here instead of v4.20.0, whatever, but I've found that the easiest way to configure all of this is just to not have to specify the Mathlib version and just let the Lean toolchain, Lean automatically decide the most up-to-date version. You see here that after I change this, we get a lake file configuration changed, and they want you to restart Lean. So we'll go ahead and do that. Let's just make sure that it keeps working. So I'm going to open up our file that we're going to be doing today, and we should still see the info view come up. If you get the info view stuck on the spinning loading screen icon, usually what that means is that you do not have the right version of either Lean or Mathlib, probably Mathlib, in your .lake file, right? So if you have an old version of Mathlib in the .lake file or a mismatching version, you try to build your project, Lean will have to rebuild the entire Mathlib from scratch. You know, if the info view is taking forever. Also, make sure that you don't have something like library search. Library search will make the info view take a long time sometimes, or other kinds of searches. Those might take a long time. So make sure you don't have that. And if it's still if it's still not loading very quickly, then you're going to want to basically start over from scratch. It's the easiest way by far. You do rm-rf.lake. I already have it in my history. And then what you're going to want to do is you're going to say lake exe cache clean, and then after that you will want to say lake exe cache get. So these two commands are going to basically clean up the build files and then download new build files pre-built from the internet. This is about 5 gigabytes, so it's pretty big. You don't want to build this on your own. A typical laptop building Mathlib on its own is going to take about somewhere in the range of hours, at least a few hours. So definitely don't try to do that.